Welcome once again to the Bear Network. I'm your host, Gary Omby. Today, as we talk about Bradley Central High School cheerleading. Not had a program like this and got some big events coming up, and want to introduce our guests, our two coaches, Jennifer Moore and Carrie Ivester, and Fancy Rojas and Kimsey Turner, two of the cheerleaders here with us today, two of the seniors. And we're going to talk about some things and what's coming up with dates and all that. But girls, I'm telling you what, and ladies, you couldn't ask for a better season in football.
Very
14
much true.
games, you go to the semifinals, you get to do a lot of neat things for Coach Moore there. And Carrie, what can you say? Another Barrett State Championship basketball. It's one of those years, wow, it ain't like it's everywhere, you know. And here we are celebrating tomorrow. By the way, this is recorded on Thursday. Tomorrow, Friday morning here at Bradley, Jim's Media Arena, we'll have at 10 o'clock a very special presentation for the Barretts team and talk about all the things that happened for the Barretts this year. But Coach, just talk about things here. Did you enjoy the season this year with the great football team we had and all the things that accomplished and go with that?
Oh yeah, it was incredible. I was trying to explain to our freshmen, because this is our very first year as a cheerleader for football.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea how incredible this season. Like, I don't know if you're going to experience this one again.
Right.
So it's hard to even express the moments that I mean, even when we beat Maryville, like twice. I think that to me was such a huge moment, because after all these years, of course, of being part of the team and cheering them on, that was finally something we could accomplish. And we did it right, we did it well, and then we did it twice. And so that was a moment that I would even go back over the season and just rewatch that game, because it was monumental for sure.
It sure was. And Carrie, it's becoming old hat to go to the glass house during the spring here, during March. And again, we go, and girls won it all. And I know, and then you guys had spring break the week after that, so it really was a big time.
Yes, a lot of traveling, a full week of traveling, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And it's a good experience for the girls to be able to cheer on a college court.
Well, these young ladies both cheered for football. So Fancy,
Hi.
how was it?
It was so good. It's the best 4 years of my life. I'm pretty sure I'll always remember those days. I'm glad I got to experience them, of course. And I mean, I would wish it for anybody. It's so good. I love it. Make good friends and memories.
And you've cheered all 4 years here, probably, haven't
Yep.
you? In middle school at Lake Forest.
Surprisingly, yes.
And so you're going to go next year as a senior. Where are you going to go to school?
I'm going to go to Tennessee Tech to dance.
To dance.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a great school there. A lot of Bradley kids over there.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Good distance, but not too far, but good distance.
Yeah, you're right there. How about you, Kimsey, next year?
I will be going to Tennessee Tech as well, and I'm trying out for the cheer team, so fingers crossed, we'll see.
Oh, you can make it. Both of you.
Let's hope, but I would never trade these 4 years that I've had here at Bradley for anything else, and it's an experience that I hope everyone could enjoy and get to experience.
Well, we hope so too. And I'm up here a lot, and I've talked to some kids that I cannot wait to get out of high school. I said, look, this is the fun time of your life. Reality hits when you get out of high school and you hit college or a job or whatever, get married, whoever knows what's going to happen there. But we're going to have the tryouts coming up here in a moment, but I want to ask these girls first before that. You went through the tryouts, and what would you suggest? You know, I'm going to try out for a cheerleading team, and I've not ever done it before. What advice would you give to me as a young lady coming here to try out?
I would say be prepared mentally, what you're going into. Be in the before process of the whole try, you make sure you're stretching, that you are tumbling, making sure you get your reps in, because when it hits, you're going to want to fully be prepared on the material that you're given. And so therefore those weeks the week that we're doing all this information and giving you can focus on that priority, and then worry about tumbling and jumps later, because you already got them done. So I would say work on that right now before we give you the material, and then when we give you the material, go hard and practice a lot.
Well, Kimsey, it's much of mental preparation, I guess. You know, the confidence. I could have confidence I can do this, and then the physical part of it obviously goes with that too. And you're a tumbler, I believe.
Yes, sir.
For the team.
Yes. I would say just being confident in your skills and knowing what you can do. And it's all muscle memory at that point. Once you get out in front of the judges, it's like you've got to do what you know how to do and not be nervous and just let it go. So.
All right, let's talk about the tryouts now. Every year you go through this, and even the team members are on the cheerleading squad, don't they try it again each year? So just because you're on the cheer team this year doesn't mean you're gonna be automatically on the team again, so. When's this gonna happen? Where's it gonna happen? What time's it gonna happen? And what are some of the things that the young ladies would need to know? Who
So
would be
we've
responsible?
got, we'll share the load here. We have tryouts next week, so from March 26th, 27th, and then the formal tryout will be March 28th. And so starting at 3:45 is when we'll have all the participants gather in the gym, and we'll, that point, demonstrate, okay, here is the content that you need to know for a dance that will be performed. Here's content that you need to know for the cheer that will be performed, because then on Thursday, that'll be when we have the formal tryouts. That'll be when they actually perform those things in front of judges. And so those will be the two kind of choreographed routines that they'll have to learn at those practice events. And then, as the ladies were mentioning earlier, we'll also have option for tumbling that they can demonstrate. If they have tumbling, it is not required, but it does help the score. And then we will ask them all to perform certain jumps. And so they'll be able to be scored on those things. So, and you can find the application all over the place.
Yes, it's on, bchs.bradleyschools.org. It should be a floating tab on there on Facebook, and you can sign up. We'll also have the QR code to sign up on the first day if you've not filled that out yet. But just when you fill out the application, you also have to join this app called Band App, and then go back to application, make sure you submit the application, and then all the material will get also released through the Band App. That's how we communicate to the cheerleaders. It's just an easy way to mass send out everything and all of that. So, and then also just to, we start at 3:45, but we start with stretching and stuff. So I know some of the middle school kids sometimes get worried, parents get worried that they're not gonna be here on time when we first start. We have like kids that, they start to flow in, we're stretching, you're not missing much at the very beginning. So we don't really generally start until we have 95% of the people that signed up on the application.
So, and that will be starting, it's a 3-day period, say 26, 27, 28,
Right.
with the final showdown, I guess, whatever you call it, on 28, like.
The actual tryout is on Thursday. Like, they don't get judged for the first 2 days.
Okay, but when they come and get the information, they'll get information about the cheers, they're expected to learn those, and the dance routine, the choreography, stuff like that. Do you watch during the season, do you go back and watch your routines on tape and see, oh man, I really messed up here, what a knucklehead I am.
Or did great in places too.
Well, everybody has a good day and a bad day. On radio, I know when I have a bad day, because nobody has to tell me, but,
I mean, yeah, I go back and watch videos just because it's like senior year, I'm like sad, but also like I just like watching. But this year we like focused on like dancing a lot because we wanted to improve in that area, and I liked watching all the dances. We learned a lot of fun ones, and it was really good.
I love watching the reels that we make.
Oh yeah, Matt Moore, hashtag Matt Moore. Love him.
Who makes up the signs during football? When the team runs out on the field and you have these humongous signs, and some of them are pretty catty, some of them are really funny, some of them are, whatever, you gotta insult the other team as best you can and keep it appropriate. But
Right.
who comes up with those slogans and,
Well, this year we were lucky enough to have a Velcro sign that could bust through, that's reusable, but for the big games we got to paint some, and we collectively as a team will decide, and then there's a family that's responsible for that sign each week. They have to be approved, of course, but
Trust me, you want them to be.
yeah, I hope they are approved. Well, Carrie, in basketball, when they're cheerleading, I know we have some routines about when their other team's shooting free throws, you want to harass them or whatever you can to get their distraction going on there. Do you have, say, girls, when we do this, we're going to start out the game with certain type of cheers, or?
Well, we always start the game with a certain cheer, but then there's 6 or 5 girls that have to memorize a set of cheers, and so they just call them. They go down the line, and they can randomly call, depending if we're on offense, defense, or whatever. They'll call one from their memorized list, and then go from there. But they have some of them. Some years they have to memorize like 13 to 15. Sometimes it's just maybe 10. And then they might have like a set of some other random ones. But they generally have them memorized, except for when we go and do our quarter cheers. Those have been pre-practiced and planned out ahead of time, and they know, like, which ones we're doing for that.
So different girls on the team can holler out a certain cheer
There's
number,
like
whatever?
set girls that have them memorized, so, yes.
Okay, well, I've seen them do that thing. I wasn't sure how they were captains or what there. Do you do sort of the same thing for football there? Or do you have certain girls that can call out cheers, or is it pre-planned or formatted or whatever, or?
Right. Well, actually, Kimsey might be a good one to ask about that because she
Okay.
got to be the one to organize all that this season.
Yes, I was. So this year for football, we had just seniors calling the chants, and I think we had about 7, 10 cheers each. Plus, you have the band dances that you can call each time. We had a specific senior each game calling band dances for that set game. And then for wrestling, we had juniors and seniors just because we have so many. And then you had about 2 or 3 or 5, just depending on if you're a junior or senior.
I hadn't thought about that, but if football, when the band is there, and they're playing certain kind of music, there's certain kind of dance routine you're gonna go into for that.
I mean, you feel out the vibe of like the song. So if it's like a very hip hop dance, we have like more of a bump bump bow. But if it's like a very simple, very like clean, like precise thing, that's like a very like we have like this like you just kind of feel the beat, and then like how fast it goes, especially that matters, because you don't want to put a dance that people can't get their legs together by one so yeah, you just kind of feel it out. Like it's all about like knowing it's right.
That was actually something unique we did this year, and it was kind of a fun little challenge for my seniors because every one of them at some point was kind of like the one who called the dances. So what they'll have to do is exactly what Fancy's saying, like feel the beat, kind of know, and then in their head there's like 7 different routines that they have memorized, and depending on what that 8 count is, will determine what she thinks will feel good or go well with that song. So if the band pulls up with like brand new stand tunes, instead of us having to go and find specific choreography for that song, we can just find that beat and then, here's a routine that goes with that.
Oh, okay.
And so it made it a little bit fun, a little bit of a challenge, but they did so well. I mean, it was actually one of the more fun things that we did, I think, this season.
Well, since every cheerleader has to try out again each year, I guess it doesn't necessarily mean it's important about seniors, but how many, these 2 seniors on football cheer, how many other seniors we have on football cheer that are gonna be gone for sure?
We had 5 total this season.
5 seniors, how many on basketball?
I did not have any, but I have like 2, I can take 16 total.
Okay, so, and is that your squad size, is that what you want to be?
Yeah,
18?
they limit us to 16 at Murfreesboro, so, our end goal is to end up at the Glass House, so, I mean, I can only take 16, so that's why I take 16.
Okay, I've seen some schools we've been to, or they come here even, they have 20 cheerleaders.
Yeah,
and it's more than, fills up the whole, underneath the
Yeah,
basket.
and if we go to McMinn Central, that becomes a difficulty in their little dome, because I have a problem with 16 cheerleaders at McMinn Central, so.
How about in football, how many cheerleaders do you have there?
Well, last season I had 20. That's the most I've ever had. So it's more of a range at this point.
Okay.
I'll never go under 16, and I won't go higher than 20. So I'm just going to use that as like my range.
Okay. Well, back to the trites and all that. If you're a student at Bradley, already here, you're not coming in as a freshman this year, can they just, and they've not cheered, they can try out then, of course, and then if they could see you or go to that website and check things out there, okay, I guess. And then if they're an 8th grader coming up as a rising freshman this coming season, they can come in and try out the after-school tryouts that you talked about there, and be prepared to get the materials and the routines that they need to learn and get that down pat for the tryout there. Any advice? The girls have given their opinion about the advice. Any advice that you'd like to give them? And now we have 2 different squads of cheerleaders for football and wrestling and for basketball, but the tryouts will all be at one time.
Right.
And how do you or they determine which squad they will cheer for?
Okay, so they have an option when they fill out the application to either select their first preference and a second preference, and that will, according to their score, kind of put them in those slots.
Okay.
If they are just only going to do one squad, then they just mark one preference and they leave their second preference open, and that just communicates to us, this is the squad I want. And if my score works, great. If your score doesn't hit, then therefore they won't cheer. So
Okay.
it gives them options to choose that on the application. And can I say one more quick thing about
Sure.
some of that application stuff? So kind of little questions that we have had coming in recently. One is, do we need teacher recommendations? We don't require teacher recommendations for our tryout. Secondly, do we need a physical to try out? We don't do physicals before tryouts. We'll do physicals once the participants have made the team.
Okay.
And then third is making sure that they have uploaded, and the directions are all in our messages, but they'll upload the most recent report card, which was sent out in Bradley County Schools, was sent out March the 8th. And so they'll have to, wherever they are, whether it be middle school or at Bradley, it doesn't matter where you are in the system or at another school, they all have to upload that. We do require an 80 overall average, and they cannot have failed a core course in this last quarter. If any of those two things are not met, then they are ineligible to try out.
Okay. Let's talk about summer camps. I know I'm up here during summer sometime, and I see the little bitty kids out there under the shade trees doing their thing, trying to get some routines down and just come to camp. Is that going to happen again this year? Do you have dates on that determined yet, or is that too early to talk about at
Yeah.
this point?
Well, we've set ours up for June the 17th through the 20th. So for the girls who make the team, we will pack up our bags. Reinhardt University in Georgia is where we're headed this year.
Oh.
And so you're not too far away from here, which is nice. But yeah, that'll be June 17th through 20. So essentially it's 4 days, 3 nights away, and it's incredible. These girls can attest to it. We do a thing, it's called the FCA camp. So they get a lot of good like worship, Bible study, mentoring, and cheerleading all week.
Okay. It's not always about cheerleading, it's about
Yeah.
life in general there.
Jesus.
And you learn a lot of life lessons, I'm sure, during your cheerleading process.
Oh, I
there.
changed the whole entire, like, me, I don't even know.
It's been a positive experience
No,
for you, though.
yeah, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Well, we hope that's a positive thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I know it.
She's wonderful.
But we're gonna miss you two seniors around here at the school. I see your smiling face here all the time, and it's been fun to have you
Yeah.
guys involved and all that. But any final words you'd like to, recommendations or information you need to share at this point about either the tryouts for football or basketball and just whatever? Does that wrap it up?
I think so. I mean, in the applications are still, they'll be live up until Thursday
Okay.
of next week. So if anybody has that last minute decision, they're like, I want to try this out. It's available still. We'd love to at least come in and experience it. I mean, obviously worst case you don't make it, but there's always next year. Like you said, everyone is always competing back for their spot. And so we've invited girls who didn't make it 1 year back, and then they had improved their skills and made it.
Okay.
So there's been some really beautiful stories come from that too. So I just want to encourage anyone out there that aspires to cheer for the Bears, don't give up, because there's a place for you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna mention just tumbling really quick. It's not required, like we said, but it is recommended for the tryout. They don't get a mat or spotting or anything like that, and it's on the gym floor. So that's like an adjustment, especially for people that are used to cheering on a football field. So we do recommend, going, if you're gonna throw tumbling, that you know that you're throwing it on a gym floor, you're not getting spotted, there is no mat. There's different levels. You don't have to throw everything in tumbling, we'll talk to all the girls and you just throw the highest of the points you would get. So a tuck is obviously gonna be your highest, and then just like a standing back handspring, is the lowest points that we'll give, I think, is a standing back handspring.
Can you girls do all of that?
Okay.
Come on, Fancy.
Like right now.
Yeah. Right, get up here on the table. Let me show
I
you.
could do a standing back handsprings. Yeah. And she can do a lot more.
As a tumbler, how did you learn tumbling? Did you learn that at an early age, I'm sure, probably?
I started tumbling whenever I was in 5th grade, and then, I had a dancer background, so that kind of built my skills and helped me flip easier, and it's kind of helped me like with the basic foundations. And then I've been in tumbling classes for about 8 years.
Oh, okay.
So Kimsey's over there throwing fools, so everyone knows because she won't say it. It's one of the hardest skills an athlete can do, and it's really beautiful and it looks amazing, and it's what's taken her off to college and beyond, I'm sure. But she's able to do that. And then I'll brag on Fancy too, who was and I mean, tumbling is such a mental thing. I mean, yes, physically you have to be ready, which they are often very much ready for that physically, but it's mentally the confidence that Kimsey was talking about, just being able to trust yourself. And so I'm so proud of Fancy because she had it the whole time, but then finally came around and decided I'm going to throw this thing on the regular for my squad, for myself. And had one of the most beautiful back handsprings the whole time. So we're proud that she finally
Preach,
was
dog.
correct to do that.
More, she says, more.
Right.
Well, it's been great getting all this information out there. So folks, if you feel like you would like to be a cheerleader here at Bradley Central for football or basketball and wrestling, come try out. On the dates again are?
March 26, 27, and the formal tryout 28.
Okay, and to be at Jim Smitty Arena, right here on campus of Bradley Central High School. So it should be fun. And girls, it's been great watching you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on getting to the next level at Tennessee Tech, and you had a great year. One of the best years in the history of Bradley Central here again. So,
Thankful.
and you were a big part of that, as everybody is, and the Bear Nation too. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here talking about cheerleading, and we'll have a big celebration tomorrow at 10 a.m. here at Bradley Central. That's Friday morning, and we'll talk about the another state championship for the girls, the Bearettes, during that presentation tomorrow morning. And the public is invited to that. Until next time, this is Gary Omey, your host on the Bear Network. Until next time, God bless, and go Bears and Bearettes.